Let's open the book on this. Today in Albany, a Troy man's wild night at Cloverfest ended with handcuffs and serious charges after a deputy was allegedly punched during the commotion. I'm Leah, and we're keeping it real this morning.
And I'm Garrett. Let's dive right in.
Welcome to Laid Back Local, the news of the day with Leah and Garrett, coming to you from Albany, New York. First up, a 21-year-old from Troy is facing charges after a chaotic scene at Cloverfest, the hip-hop concert at MVP Arena downtown. Deputies from the Albany County Sheriff's Office stepped in when security struggled to eject him. According to Sheriff Craig Apple, the man was acting irrationally, and during the encounter, a sergeant was allegedly punched. That sergeant was treated at a local hospital and released. The charges include second-degree assault, resisting arrest, and obstruction, which means interfering with law enforcement. The sheriff also said it's unclear whether intoxication was a factor. The suspect was scheduled for arraignment in Albany City Court, the first court appearance where charges are formally read.
Yeah, that checks out with how rowdy big shows can get. Rough night all around. Large events are tough to manage, and even with trained security, once someone is amped up or acting unpredictably, it can escalate fast. I'm curious why security couldn't de-escalate earlier. Was it crowd pressure, the timing, or just one of those moments that spiraled? Either way, this is exactly why deputies work these shifts alongside venue teams. It's not just backup, it's planning for the what-ifs.
Real talk. Those what-ifs can turn on a dime, and I do wonder why we still see basic communication break down at events despite all the training. Is it the noise, the adrenaline, or both? That's something to chew on, huh?
Speaking of public safety and community health, next up, 50 years later, New York's advisory against eating most fish from the Hudson River is still here, and here's why. The river was contaminated decades ago with PCBs, short for polychlorinated biphenyls, industrial chemicals that stick around in water and sediment for a very long time. They're often called forever chemicals because they don't break down easily. The Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, declared the lower 200 miles of the Hudson a Superfund site in 1983, a formal label for hazardous pollution areas that need long-term cleanup. The EPA required General Electric, GE, to dredge certain sections in 2002. Dredging is basically digging contaminated mud off the riverbed. That dredging wrapped in 2015, but the fish advisories remain in place. In some stretches, it's catch and release only, so you can fish, but you're supposed to put them back. Awareness among anglers is high, according to surveys, but compliance varies, and some immigrant communities either aren't seeing the advisories or don't trust them. In 2025, the EPA said it needs more time to fully evaluate how well the cleanup worked.
That's close to the heart of it for me. PCBs carry real health risks, including cancer, which is exactly why those warnings matter. The tough part is communication. If signs don't clearly say PCBs or spell out the risk, people may not take them seriously or may not understand them at all. And the responsibility question still echoes: GE's role, the regulator's role, and the community's burden. Why is it still so hard to get straightforward, multilingual, easy-to-see advisories in all the right spots along the river? Next up, let's unpack the river's backstory. The Hudson used to be a thriving fishing highway. In 1942, more than 4 million pounds of shad were pulled from these waters, a booming fishery that fed families. Thomas Edison, one of GE's founders, was known to fish on the Hudson, which tells you how central this river was to everyday life. Then in 1975, New York issued the fish consumption ban because of PCB contamination, and the industry changed overnight. Cleanup efforts have been steady but slow, and in 2017, the EPA projected it might be safe enough by 2072 or later for something like one fish a week. A stark timeline, decades more waiting.
That one gave me chills. The scale of time. It's a reminder that rapid industrial growth, which brought jobs and innovation, can cast long shadows when waste isn't handled safely. Restoration is complicated. Currents move sediment, fish migrate, and monitoring is slow science. But that also means urgency, regular, transparent updates, and no sugarcoating the milestones. People plan their lives and traditions around this river. Next up, where the environment meets the economy. Despite years of work, PCB levels in fish have shown stubborn persistence. There was even a bump from 2020 to 2021, which is honestly deflating. That uncertainty affects charter businesses, bait shops, and weekend anglers. Remember, Superfund status means this is a long-haul cleanup with federal oversight, and the EPA keeps evaluating data to decide the next steps. When the science says hold on, the local economy ends up holding on too.
What a twist. Upticks when you expect downslopes. I'm thinking of families who fished these banks for generations. The resilience is real, but so is the fatigue. Clear sampling results, timelines in plain language, and honest explanations of what's next. That's the transparency that helps people adjust. And on the bigger picture, what happens here shapes policy elsewhere. How we treat river corridors today sets the standard for other communities tomorrow. Last up, the debate is still hot over how effective past dredging has been, and who carries the final responsibility for getting the river to safe, fish-on-the-table levels. GE and regulators are still in that back-and-forth space. Meanwhile, some advisory signs reportedly don't even mention PCBs or cancer risk, which undercuts the whole point. If the message is murky, the behavior will be too.
I'm down for a simple plan. Measure, report, act, then repeat until the fish are safe to eat. That means proactive sampling schedules people can track, clear signage in multiple languages, and straight accountability when targets aren't met. No stress on the jargon, just tell folks what's safe, what's not, and why. Because in the end, public health shouldn't be a puzzle you have to solve on the riverbank.
And that's where we'll leave it for now.
So, there we have it, folks. Stay safe out there, and we'll catch you tomorrow with more from around Albany.